find myself pretty intrigued on a regular basis with the research that NP Digital puts out. I think they do a really, really good job. This in particular, though, what I was looking at today, this is a piece of data they put out a couple days ago around AI generated articles and what they found over a 12-month period compared to purely human written articles is really interesting. So I thought I would share a couple of things I kind of learned from it.
So you can see the blue is obviously the AI content, and I assume they didn't give us a ton of details on how they got this data, but I assume it's probably articles they either wrote themselves or they know for a fact were written in something like ChatGPT, etc. So it's purely AI written content versus human content, which is the orange. And obviously you can see here that they are saying that what they found was there was more traffic generated from the humanly written content versus the purely AI written content. Now for context, they are an SEO company and that's like what they're mainly known for. So they're obviously going to have a very vested interest in human content being, superior. But I think even with those sort of things in your mind, I think there's something interesting to be learned here. What I took most from this data is obviously if you can write every single article, every single piece of content you have, and you can produce it at a really consistent rate, really, really high level, and you never have any drop off, having a human being write that for you purely with no AI, what their data suggests is that that would be the very best option. But I think there's a middle ground here. We really are seeing a lot of extremes, which is kind of like typical for our culture, is that everything has to be an extreme. It's AI content or it's human content. And I think there's a middle ground to live in. And I think that's definitely what we're passionate about at Breezy is leveraging tools, but having human beings use those tools and making sure that all of the content we produce feels exactly like the brand wants it to feel. It has an authentic voice and story. It has a very specific tone on a consistent basis. So while we might use tools to, do idea generation, to do editing, to get some things started, we never are going to be, a company that we use AI purely. But at the same time, to never use those tools also feels a little bit silly. And also, if you really think about it, especially if you're in a place as a small business owner, as a consultant, a coach, a solopreneur, where you really want to produce consistent content, but you just know I cannot spend 10 hours a week sitting down and writing every single thing. That's where starting with an AI as a tool, not a replacement, can be a really, really effective way for you to create consistent content at a really affordable rate and be able to kind of get that rolling until you can afford to bring in a team or to hire somebody. So what this data showed me is that AI is important, human beings are important, and if you put them together, it can be a really, really powerful combination. So I would love to see more and more conversation around less extremes, maybe a little bit more conversation around how we can leverage these things in a human way that benefits our businesses, our clients, without it having to feel like it's one or the other. Because I really think somewhere in the middle is where we should be living.